This has been prepared.
Some uniforms trained the armies that sailed. Not every soldier sailed himself.
I was doing an inspection before.
This is William Quinhill, Willie Meeks, born April 8, 1894 in Charlottesville. He grew up here listed in Ward 3 in 1900, and by the Great War he was a young tradesman, a painter. Riverview Cemetery Charlottesville headstone app filed the 11th of February 1937 by Brother Harry Franklin Meeks, address 908 Forest St. Charlottesville. This stone belongs to William Quinhill, Meeks Willie Q, to his family. Born April 8, 1894, Charlottesville, Virginia. A working man, a soldier for a season, and a life carried out within a few square miles of home. He came from Luther George Meeks and Anna Mildred Atkins, a Charlottesville family you can watch moving through the records like mile markers. 1900 the census has them in Ward 3 of the city. 1910 still right here in Albemarle County. The same circle of streets and churches and neighbors. Willie grows up in that circle. One of the Meeks children you can pick out line by line on those old schedules. By the time the United States enters the Great War, Willie is a young tradesman. On his death certificate, he'll be listed as a painter, the kind of work you learn by standing next to someone older and watching the brush, coat after coat, until it's your turn on the lad. In June of 1918, with the war already a year old, Willie steps into uniform. His headstone and his Veterans Headstone application give us the same core line: Private, Depot Brigade, Camp Lee, Virginia. On the stone itself, the unit is carved as the 155 Depot Brig, Camp Lee outside Petersburg. Was the place of Virginia's draftees were processed, trained, and, as the war ended, mustered out. Depot Brigades were the engine rooms of the whole effort: intake, inoculation, drill, and paperwork in. Then later the other flow and reversemen coming home, medical boards, and discharge. So Willie's war was a stateside war, and an essential one. He entered service June 23, 1918, just as the Army was accelerating the last draft calls. He's there through the Armistice and the long winter demobilization, and he leaves the Army on January 7, 1919, Norfolk is noted on the form. One of the main processing points for men coming off ships and back into civilian life. What does that mean in human terms? It means early mornings on the Camp Lee parade grounds, rifle drill under a corporal's voice, uniforms issued and reissued, the strange new rhythm of Army chow and Army inspections. It means learning how to stand in a file and how to read the forms that send men forward or send them home. It means watching trains slide out of the station with other battalions aboard, and then watching those trains come back again with men who had crossed an ocean. After the Army, Willie returned to the life he knew. The next time the paper takes his measure is February 9, 1937. That's the day the doctor writes his Virginia death certificate. It gives us the plain facts the state requires: male, white, single, occupation, painter, place of death. The doctor notes that he attended Willie February 7th and February 9th, and he writes the cause in the physician's hand: hypertensive cardiovascular disease, hypertension-related heart disease. Willie is 40. There is one more document filed days later that helps us hear a family voice. On February 11, 1937, Willie's brother Harry Franklin Meeks fills out the U.S. Headstone application for military veterans. It puts their address at 908 Forest Street, Charlottesville. It repeats Willie's service, and it requests a government stone for Riverview Cemetery. That application is why this slab stands here now, and why we can read his name aloud today. If you're used to stories about regiments that sailed and divisions that traded ground across France, Willie's service can sound quiet. But the war only worked because thousands of men did exactly what he did. Depot brigades were how the country turned civilians into soldiers and then soldiers back into civilians. Vaccinated, trained, paid, and documented. In the last months of 1918 and the first weeks of 1919, that work was a flood. Transports arriving, medical screening for disease that followed the war home, reassignments for men still recovering, and millions of discharges to a nation that wanted its sons back at the bench and the plow. Willie stood his post in that system. He did not marry single is what the certificate says. And there's something in the spareness of that record that makes you wish for a photograph or a letter. What we can say is that he worked with his hands, the same hands that learned to present arms and to square a bunk, now cutting in a line, priming wood, rolling paint smooth on plaster in houses around Charlottesville. We can say he was Luther and Anna's son and Harry's brother, and that when it came time, the family made sure the army would mark his grave. If you're standing here with us, you may notice a bronze service cross near the base and older emblem that speaks to another era's wars. Willie's own inscription is the one to follow. PVT 155 Depot Brig. That single line holds his share of the Great War. And here's the last line in the book. Riverview Cemetery, Charlottesville. A government stone, his name cut deep enough to last. The same field where so many local veterans rest. We leave him with the facts we can prove. William Quinhill Meeks, born April 8, 1894, Charlottesville, U.S. Army Privet 155th Depot Brigade, Camp Lee, enlisted June 23, 1918. Discharged January 7, 1919, Norfolk occupation. Painter, marital status, single, died February 9, 1937, Charlottesville. Physician attending February 7th and February 9th. Cause, hypertensive cardiovascular disease. Burial, Riverview Cemetery. Headstone requested by Harry Franklin Meeks, 908 Forest Street, February 11, 1937. A trainer of soldiers, a working man, a Charlottesville son. We say his name so the stone won't have to do all the remembering. William Quinhill Meeks.